the rest is history today. From junior announcer, I retired, that was last year, October, as Zonal Director of the Southwest Zone.
You're the Southwest.
So I want to encourage each and every one of you here. There's absolutely nothing you cannot do once you set your mind at it. My father never I wanted to be a broadcaster because to him, broadcasters never do well and they never, actually see in their husbands will be, all kind of sentiments. But let me tell you this, if you set your mind at keeping your home, you definitely keep it. I'm still living with my husband. We've been married for close to 40 years now. So for you ladies, you can do well. Just set your mind at it, be focused, and the sky will be the starting point.
When there is a will, there is a way. If you get something from nothing, we build something. All right.
Good morning. I wonder which of our parents would those days agree to Israel and daughter to go into broadcasting. You're only because of your partner. I think you are an exception. My dad wanted me to be a medical doctor, which I never wanted to be and I never be one. I'm a very restless person. Right from my childhood, I had my goal right from the beginning. This is what I wanted to become right from when I was in nursery school. You'll be so amazed. I think by nature, I'm a very outgoing person, very restless and extrovert. I like to do things that will challenge me. I like to do things differently. I like to talk in public, direct and all that. So there was this creative ability that I didn't know was actually pushing me. So by the time I got to my secondary school, I realized this is what I actually wanted. I started with poem recitation, debate, and all that. I don't know if they do that now. Literary Debating Society.
Yes.
What I love is that we discover a lot of talents when they are so young. And I think it's very important that we pay attention, critical attention to our child's passion right from the word. So why did my dad, I want to make you laugh now. Why did my dad wanted me to be a medical doctor? It's a very funny sentiment. Yes, I 12FM is there, so I want to go to the 12FM now so you can laugh. Why did he want me to be a medical doctor? It's so funny. In those days, back then, the Yahulis, when you get married to a family, and there's one small boy there, you don't call him by his name. So they will call you Doctor Badiano, Omodudu, Bodalewe, and stuff like that. So my own name was Doctor. The doctor, what's that? And my dad said, it must be that name. What's the meaning of that? Why was I the doctor? Because they called me doctor. I must not be doctor because I was nicknamed. So for that reason, he actually held on to you seriously. But I said no in my mind, but then you could not tell your dad and parents that you did not do what they actually wanted you to do. So in my own way, very stubborn, I had my own other plans to actually come into broadcasting, either broadcasting or theater art. I love art. So he pushed me from the art class to the sciences. I was the best art student, and I was the social prefect. So it took me from art class to sciences to the picture I can pursue the medical in my mind, my life. So I had to now have the literature to my subjects, and I was the only science student that offered literature at that time in my school. I had to beg the principal at the back, and it was pay per subject, not now. You pay per subject. So it was like, okay, who will now pay for the literature? Your dad does not want you to be I will pay. My mom will pay. Or go and work anyhow. Will pay. I'll find a way around it. But my dad does not know. So I had it with my principal, so I was going to the literature class because I love art. So at the end of the day, I came out with I made all the papers. dad saw this, little shocking. Little shocking. I said, I just who gave you that money? He didn't know that I had the little money to design something. I said, you paid for it. He said, no, I didn't pay for it. You paid for it. So that was where I first noticed that this boy is extremely stubborn. What is with literature? But that was where I was going, and I set my eyes on it. So let me just bring it all around. So while I was in University of Ibadan, before I got my admission in 1989, I'm a young boy, as the white dead man here. Yes. He's my brother and a friend, so don't mind me. So before I came into University of Ibadan in 1989, I'd already been at the OTBC. I actually told my dad I wanted to have my jam lecture in Abeokuta so I can go to OTBC, but he didn't know I had my theology. So it took me from Mushi. I said myself too much in Mushi, I would not concentrate, I have a lot of friends. So it took me to Abeokuta to his uncle. So I started as a protege. I was introduced to broadcasting by my late veteran, my late mentor, late Toba Ballet. So I actually went to him by myself. Nobody took me there. I went to DBC and I said, sir, okay, I went to the security people. I said, I wanted to see Mr. Toba Ballet. I was very small. So he saw me, I went to his office. I was like, of course, like his son. He said, yes, who is this? So my name is Generation. What do you have for me? Who sent you? I said, I sent myself. I said, okay, so what for you? He said, I want to be like you. You want to be like you? I said, yes. I said, okay. So where are you? I said, I just wrote my jam and all that. I said, you must be educated. So I won't take him on if I'm not educated. I said, yes, that's my dream. I'm going to be admitted in the University of Ibadan. So I had some admissions that would take me away from this environment, but because I wanted to be part of this world, I rejected those things, but I wanted to be something close to Abeokuta in Ibadan. I said, okay, I should come on. So every week I'll be at the UTBC, learning under him, not like, okay, if she was introduced by my husband, I introduced myself to it. So I went to the man, he took me on. That's why I will never discourage anybody that comes to me to say, I want to do what you're doing. So that's where my story started from. And that's why I have a lot of them like that. So many that are doing very well now. Your story will come back to you. It will repeat itself. Absolutely. If you had sent me away, perhaps there wouldn't have been any emission in this line, perhaps. So it took me on, and I was never a staff for any station. I was not their artist. I was not their freelance presenter. I was just directly under a veteran, like a tutelage under him. So not OGBC, but directly under top of Ballet. So for every of his program, I'll be part of the production team, learning, not like direct anything, but learning what is there, what we do. And by and large, I was there just going every week. Along the line, I was coming from Ibadan to Abeokuta every week. How did I get the money? Don't even ask me. My dad was not giving me that money. You didn't even know I was going to Abeokuta. That was too high a risk. So I would my monthly allowance, I would not hit 101 or 100 and use the rest to transport myself to Abeokuta just to learn what I wanted to do. So anyhow, I was just going to Abeokuta. So it got to one particular day, and that was I think March 7th, 1990 or 1991, March 7th. There was a program that failed for 2 weeks, and that was Nefelam on OTBC AM. And the program failed for 2 weeks, and Toba now said, Yemi, you are going to stand in and save the station. I wanted to die. That was my first encounter talking on radio. Like after understudying somebody for like 1-2 years, and he said, now go and do it. And that was it. And the story is what we are seeing today. From there, so many stations. I don't want to take our time. My story is long. So don't let me go there. But just keep your eyes on the ball. Whatever it takes, as long as that's what you want, that's your passion, you'll get there. It might be so difficult. There could be challenges. That's part of life. But get it very clear. This is what I want, not because Palatito Joseph is a broadcaster. I just want to talk on radio. But do you have the passion? Do you really want to be in this business? The other side of it, the executive part of it, is another story in time.
Okay.
So let me keep that now. But keep your eye on the ball, focus on the goal, you'll get there.
All right. Come your hands together for the time. Now, one thing you must know is that there are lives connected to your purpose. You must fulfill it. Thank you.
Hello. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tunji Abiri. From the three stories that you heard, three speakers that have spoken before me, you will see that there's a trend. Is that all right? But I'll just debate a little, so that this will pick something else. Of course, I also wanted to do something else at university before I landed, with English language. Eventually, I studied at OAE. I was going to do law. My parents, my mentors were pushing me towards law, but I appealed several, to get admission into law. That didn't happen. So, but that's not the story I want to tell. After school, I found myself in advertising practice, meaning that, we had the challenge, all right, to tell brands that want to make money and make reputation. Every brand that you see, everywhere that's, go to ShopRite, Food Co, all right, they always dump the task of making money and making name on the heads of what they call advertising agencies. And that was where I started my career. So I started as a mining trainee in a firm that used to be called Roosevelt Leopold. And then, I remember that my very first day at Roosevelt, we were doing what they call the agency tour round. And we encountered, I will never forget it, a gentleman called Right to Radio. Right to Radio was in charge of TV production. He was trained in America, he had this huge accent around him. And the guy looked at us, we were mining trainees, there were four of us doing the agency tour round. And one said to us that he didn't see any promise in us. That he looked at us, had an encounter with us, 5-10 minutes, spoken to us. He didn't see any of the four of us amounting to any grades in advertising. All right. But we showed that on, and then we learned the craft of telling stories of brands. But in the course of doing that, I then began to realize that we were just telling stories for brands. But there's a major aspect of the entire craft that agencies were missing, which is the bit about ownership of media. Content for all the brands, but hey, you may do that as an agency for about 5-10 years, you're lucky. And then the brand that you have built, you have sweated, you have done everything for, then moves on to another agency. All the equities, all the properties, all the logos, all the campaigns that you have built, all right, somebody else will not take it on and begin to. So what gave me the idea that it was time for us to begin to look at media. And that was why the idea of radio came into our minds. And to be honest, if you're going to take anything for me today, two things. I'll say, number one, is that you must always look out for the blank canvas. All around you, all right, there are blank canvases. Okay? If anybody's going to do well, whether in broadcasting or anything that you choose to do, look out for the blank canvases. That's where the opportunities are. Now, when you discover the blank canvases, important. Again, I'm beginning to lead you into the story of Nigeria. When we came into the market was heavily saturated. Maybe more saturated even now. It's okay. The question was, what are we going to do that different? That would, excite the market. Okay, you have all the big, sessions already flying high. And the question was, what are you going to do that different? So we needed to find a blank canvas. Okay? So I will salute, I will say to you, and I'll pitch to you that young minds who are here, students, budding talents who are willing to go into broadcast business, look out for your blank canvas. Don't be another copycat. Don't be another replica. Don't be another a similar version of something that you already exist. Create a new niche for yourself, a new ocean, a new name, a new right? And I'm sure that you're going to do well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Hands together. Creative. All right.
Good morning. As a matter of protocol, let me first of all recognize the panelists who are here. I'm sure there is nobody I don't know, including the lady who is representing WFM's CEO here. At least I know your boss. If I don't know that, here to beat, in a non-threatening environment. We are looking at the faces here. You are too serious. And our job is the job of entertainment. So it's a combination of entertainment and education or enlightenment. My first point this morning is that everybody here should consider himself or herself lucky. And please, whatever the number of hours you spend here, don't consider it a waste. It's going to define your life as people who are interested in broadcasting, or define it, depending on how you make good use of it. I also like the fact that, we need to throw in a few jokes here and there. We have, like I said to you, we have the CEO of 32 FM here. Even though he has gone into the story, but I think the moderator said we should talk about where we're coming from. So I'm going to keep my story that way. But as we go along, please, if you see me, just know that this man is a rebel. I have no pretenses about it. A rebel, self-acclaimed one. I'm sure that when they told everybody, when they were writing citation, I sat there. But that is in the nature of the business that I'm sure Mr. Abiri and I are training, and I think he raised that point clearly. Now, in terms of where I'm coming from, is a story about nature and nurture. So the question I'm asking you this morning, ask yourself, who are you? What are the skills and talents that God has deposited in you? How do you get to self-actualization? Any job that you're doing, you don't enjoy it, is a bore, is a chore. If you ask your wife, what is your husband's job? He'll tell you he talks for a living. I've been talking like this since I was a young boy. From Orita Baptist Social Primary School to whatever I'm doing today, I don't think it's different. With all due respect, I didn't need to go to the university to talk. talking about nature. I was also fortunate that I was born by somebody who was a pioneer broadcaster. So from the days of WNTV, WNBS, I used to play around the television studios. And it wasn't really a problem during debates and all the things that were being spoken about. But here it is. I wanted to be a diplomat. I love the French language. So I did my O-levels in French, A-levels in French. I got to University of Ibadan to study modern European languages. But the nature in me made me take my elective courses more in theater arts. So after going to the French class, I would go to the theater arts department, and I tell you, when I see all the beautiful women in tights, almost half naked, I change my mind, I cross over to theater arts. I abandoned French. Is that the nature or the nurture? Okay, here we go. So after leaving school, my first form of employment, I don't call it youth service, was working with the late Kensaro. We were producing a company in Enugu, which was Nigeria's first television series, comedy series, way back. If you are old enough, you know who wants to be a millionaire, Mr. B, and all of that. Think like a millionaire. Now, I did not joke with my youth service. We were editing every Friday. So when I left school, and this is where you must know what you want. And I'm happy with the profile of the people that we're talking to, so we can be, very open and you won't have any, backlash in terms of some of the things that we're saying. My father, having worked in NTA for God knows how long, wanted me to work in NTA. I said, no. And he said, why? I said, I'm a rascal. The people that I see in NTA are people like Patrick O'Kay, Yinka Craig. I was sitting down with them at Bar Beach, Texaco, drinking and smoking. If I enter that system, I know myself, I would have hit it wrongly. Long story short, I started in Lintas where I could be caged. Because you needed that structure. If you're a very creative person, you must work within a structure. If not, you go overboard. So, know yourself, and that's where I'm starting from. Because I knew myself, my mother would cry, I don't work for NTA. Because I knew that the system was very free, very, very flexible. And the people who are my mentors there, they were on TV doing it, but I knew that I ran the risk. So when I got into Lintas, which is Nigeria's first advertising agency, the chairman himself didn't like my haircut. So I knew that, yes, I was in the right place. When I went for the interview, I wore a direct. I said, you can't work in advertising, like you got to put on a tie. I said, when they said I should be a client service executive, I said, no, I want to be a copywriter. You don't do that, man. Everybody said you make a good client service. I said, no, I'm a creative man, write poems, I do this. Anyway, they put me there, but they were smarter and wiser because ultimately I left the copy job and became a client service person. What am I saying? You must know what you want out of life. So for you to be in broadcasting, we're still going to talk a little bit about it, but you must be sure. So that if you meet anything that is not what you want, you can identify it easily. When I left Kisas, after 1 month, and we went to the men to start SOL, my father told me, it's either you are stupid or you need some advice. I said to the man, I can't work this 20-something years. You've done 20-something years NTA. This is the way of the new world. I didn't even know that we're going to be newer now. Because now, you don't have to work from the office. Everybody wants to work from home. What am I saying? You got to face the dynamism and the dynamics of your profession. Yesterday, I was not here in the morning. It's possible. You don't have to be physically here. You must be able to change your dream within that environment. The other details I will leave to when we begin to talk about the industry, things that should work, things that should not work. But take it from me, because you guys are seated in Ibadan. My first shot is that this is a land of mediocrity. This is a land where mediocrity thrives. And my question to you, if you can answer it before you go, I'll give you a prize. Name somebody who is a top broadcaster in Ibadan and has gone to Lagos to be a success. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you very much. Join hands together. What a time we have right now. All right, now that we know how the journey began, and I'm sure that you've learned one or two things from all that they've said, very important that you learn. We go into the business of the day. And the first thing I'm going to ask you, the panelists, the first question I'm going to ask you is, how can broadcasters strike between delivery and maximizing profit in today's competitive media landscape? That's the first question. Did you get the question, Saz and Ma? Did you get the question? Yes. How can, now we are talking profitability and professionalism, the dilemma of a 21st century broadcaster. So the first question I feel is important is that, how can broadcasters strike a balance between delivering high quality content and maximizing profit in today's competitive media landscape? Let's start from you. Or we could start from anywhere. Okay. Okay, you want the question again. Now the question is, how can broadcasters strike a balance between delivering high quality content and maximizing profit in today's competitive media landscape? All right now? Copy? Thank you.
Wants to be, and I say this a lot to my colleagues at the station. For every business, there are two important lines. Every business, whether it's radio broadcasting or FMCG, all businesses, two key important lines. There are not three. Okay? There is a top line and there is a bottom line. Okay? The bottom line refers to whether it's a profit or a loss. The top line is bringing money to you, all the cost elements, everything. Okay? See, if you get your professionalism right, then your bottom line will be great. If you miss the elements that constitute your what's it called now? Revenue, cost, dynamics, then you'll be in perpetual trouble, bottom wise. So let me give you just something I was thinking about. In Ibadan, about how many FRCN or federal government owns? Maybe 3 or 2 or 3. Yeah, 3. So I was asking myself a question: why is it that the 3 stations that are owned by the federal government are operating in different environments, different buildings? Why does it not make any sense from our perspective? And I'm not talking content, I'm going to come back to content. I'm just looking at the issue of the framework of the business. All right? Why does it not make sense for all the 3 FRCN stations to be in one building, sharing infrastructure, reducing costs, ensuring that all of the things that are paid professionally and operationally wise are efficient? Okay? Number 2 is that I think when you talk content speaks to the issue of what's the DNA of your brand, what is the DNA of the station. Okay? When you define the DNA of the station properly, then the issue around talent, all right, talent alignment, content creation will then naturally evolve. And I'm still talking about the top line. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? All of those things are top line issues. Cost is top line. When you get the DNA of the station right, the DNA of the brand right, the issue of talent, all right? There's some talent presenter cannot work in that FM. They don't just fit into that FM. They won't fit have the understanding and the clarity to define that issue. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, there are many talents that want to come. They will apply to what you say, no, you don't belong here, you don't fit. You fit somewhere else. So that definition is important. Once you have got all of that right, then you talk about the issue of marketing. You as a brand. You do not have a business if you don't have a bottom line. You're just catching cruise. It's free money. In time, you realize that, and that's why you find out in Ibadan, many stations are closing down. Why are they closing down? Because they're just catching cruise. Because they want part of the normal. You know what I'm saying? It's when those things have been defined, when your top line is properly defined and it's clear, then you have a suitable, decent bottom line.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please jam your hands together. Jam your hands together. Thank you.
All right, let me take it from where my professional brother has kicked in. And I want it to be a little bit hotter than this. There's no need for us to be, he's very intellectual, me I'm very practical. But hey, gentlemen and ladies, and I would like to talk about this market because this is Ibadan. I tell you. And I'm also happy that with all due respect, when Swiki wanted to start the effect, he sat down in my office. I don't know how do I go about this. I said, go and do niche. Go and do differentiation. Don't do whatever the other person is doing. We are not started talking about life creating then. What is the point that I'm trying to make? What is professionalism in this market? Is it as defined by the listener? And the listener is Iyafe Romi, who is my mother's caregiver, and says to me, Oga, you know what karamo is? Sensationalism, hyperbole. You are talking about death. You are talking about a fuel station catching fire. You can't celebrate that. But that's what the audience wants. For me, that's my dilemma. Do we have presenters here or OAPs? Some people call themselves OAPs. I say, you are serious. You know what an OAP is? Very bloody presenter. Must everybody be shouting in the morning? I went for a presentation in Lagos on Friday, and they were talking. I said, no, it's not in my DNA. I don't want to mention station. I don't want. Look, the first thing I was taught in broadcasting, you live by ratings, you die by ratings. Don't give me ratings. And you cannot compare a merchant bank with a microfinance bank. Why are you giving me general listening? No, I don't want general listening. I have an audience that will match your brand. That's why I'm here. Sadly, this is where broadcasting started, at least television. But the problem is that we're operating in an environment, and I'm using this opportunity to vent some of my frustration, where people are not discerning, where Iyafe Romi will tell me to tell the presenters come and pick Karamo. Where a presenter goes on air, Akoko Kire for the next 15 minutes. Where the presenter says that he's doing 2 programs and he's doing it the same mode. When you are doing Akoni Bani, it's different from when you are reading values. You cannot call yourself the 2 things. That's when you become an OAP. But the audience here does not know the difference. They are the people they give the highest ratings. It is not in my DNA. I'm a professional. When I start a statement in my station, they will complete it. I am not going to lower my standard. They will say, because I'm in Ibadan. The question I'm asking is, what is professionalism? Is it as defined by 2G and 9? Or Yemi, as defined by the listener who doesn't really care? When we started test transmission, I hear things that I walk with. I say, shut up there. Ibadan, anybody, once you start reading, you start calling. Don't be mentioned by calling you. No. because the penetration of radio here is still very high. In my mother's house, they have like four. The gate man has his own. My mother has her own. The Yafaram has his own. The driver has his own. So they still listen to radio. All this year, I talk about internet penetration and people using mobile devices. Maybe those touchlight phones, you know, they use it. When you go to a video station, they are blaring and everybody's saying the same thing. So, back to my point. When you want to enter this market, you must come with a niche. I'm not here to sell live radio, I'm talking about professionalism. But after we took the comedy angle, I said, okay, what else do they do here in Ibadan? Talk is cheap in this town. So I said, I want to run a more music station. I tell my guy, keep quiet. Play that music for the next 5 minutes. Why you say you're wrong? It's not true to the philosophy of the station. You got to stay with it. WFM says we are for women. Reader FM says we are for sports. You got to look for a niche. You got to look. You cannot be doing what every other person is doing. However, for those of us or those people who are doing it, you are swimming against the tide. It's not easy. You're not going to make your profitability now. Another thing is talents, which we talked about. I mean, I like to be practical. Get out of here. This is not splash. It's a different brand. If that's the way you do it, don't come and do it. The more reason why I will not even engage you, because you are bringing the nuances and the DNA of another station to my station. No, I don't want superstar. Somebody called me, it's already go, I will go give you a station. You know, play your go give. I want to trap people. Look, this is what I confront on the daily. I want to nurture people. I don't want people who already know to come here. That's not my DNA, that's not my philosophy. The radio station has not made me money since I came, talking about profitability. I tell everybody, if I kept my money, but I am a professional, and this is where my passion lies. I want to use this platform to correct so many things. By Joe, at least you will oblige us because this is industry matter.
Yes.
Who told you that you must read the news on the radio station? Tell me, who said so? Where is it written? In which book? Do they read the news on Sound City? So you must be able to, you must be able to, radicalize it. I'll tell you, who told you? I don't think I'm not, okay, if I can't radio station to go to when you think about play, am I carrying? And there are many models like that. Galaxy, when he used to show African Magic in the morning, I thought it was mad. Until the ratings came and it was top 3. All the women who are housewives, they were watching the station while everybody is speaking news, and there are more women in that market. When channels started, channels was struggling. I was with MITV there. A lot of people used to help me pay salaries. People who are not used to the news station. CNN came, opened our eyes, channel is like this. Back to this market. Continue to back here for 15 minutes, go to the program. And it is not everybody that should be fighting government, which is one of the things that I see around here. And I'm talking about professionals. The easiest track for me to go as a former commissioner for information is to go headlong with Cheyima in this government. I said, no, that radio brand is different. This is Victoria Radio Mark. I go and write whatever I want to write as radio. But this station, okay, if this becomes the next government in power, am I going to be fighting this? APC, if they bring president, I threw it away. Our administration, equal administration, you can't come here and say president is just president. However, just like everywhere else, there's what we call ownership philosophy. I'm not saying you should not read, because of my background, I'm a Kakari member of BBC, although I have slight disagreement. But if you are going to read the news on live radio, I'm talking professionalism, state it. Governor Makinde has paid pensions of this amount. But please don't go into one pension chairman says the best governor in your state, I will not allow it. That is ownership philosophy. We know what's happening between TVC and Rise and we'll still get to that because part of what negates professionalism in this market is the way licenses have been released. Stations must get people. So you have people who have not done their homework, the current affairs program, àwọn ọmọ LAUTECH wọ́n ti wà ní ilé oṣù mẹ́fà nísìn ìjọba òṣèlú kankan ṣe sí ẹgbẹ̀ wá sórí owó èlò 3074699 the program has started. No problem, no grounding, no opinion abusing government because you've already shown the way. On my station from when they release the police salary, wọ́n ti fowó kún àwọn ọlọ́pàá ní ìsìn. Ṣé wọ́n sì wọ́n sọ́wọ́ kú àbí wọ́n ní wọ́n sọ́wọ́ kú àtẹ̀yẹ̀ máa. You already set the tone for everybody to be abusing the police because that's the way you see it. No, you will balance it. As an APC president, I go on, I tell them that we don't know whether President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is as hit the ground running. Okay, he has hit the ground. We don't know whether he's running forward, backward, sideways. He said, I don't know. I said, no, this is a different platform. But we still need to tell ourselves. What point am I making? For you to operate in this environment, you must be clear about what you want when it comes to professionalism. It might affect your profitability because there are other issues that really affect profitability. When we started Sweet FM, I said we don't want more than 10 people. In my radio station, I don't have more than 10 staff, and I'm not going to increase it. Any other person I will outsource, come and present your program and go. You are not my staff. My mother is sick, my motorcycle is spoiled, it not concern me. Yeah, because I'm watching my bottom line. I'm paying 1.5 million on diesel every month. Only 3 major sources of income, or let me say 4, and the 2 have been excluded from it. Whether it's local advertising, national advertising, government, or politics. Politics is system. Government, this government cannot touch me. So I'm left with local, and the other guys who are the big advertisers, they won't pay me on time. They switch on my money, they take away all the discounts. So I'm left with local, and this local, they'll be one for him, I don't know, one couple. Churches, I don't even want them. A lot of these churches, they call, account number, I don't want to be a platform where you explore the vulnerability of people. And I'm talking professionalism. But the others make money from it. But I'm not going to lower my standard because that's not the way I'm and I know that it is wrong. Any shouting pastor, don't bring it here. Pastor, now, I might be suffering for it, but I know that I sleep well. I know that I've not created a platform for people to be. All right, let me just leave it at that. Those are the issues for us to consider. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aru. I'm flowing with all that you've been saying. But I want to say this, that Radio Nigeria, I joined Radio Nigeria at the time we were enjoying the monopoly of the markets, just Radio Nigeria, BCOS, and at that time, we were not, there was no commercialization. We were doing everything for free for people. You have a very ceremony, just bring your, adverts, we carry it. So it was just all for public interest. But it got to a point where we also had to commercialize. We said we went partial, we did partial commercialization. And it wasn't easy. Even though our, salaries come from Abuja, there's still this problem of having to take care of operational costs. You need to buy diesel, you need to pay for electricity, that was becoming a problem. And that was at a time when there were few radio stations. As we speak right now, we have so many radio stations. My brother talked about why can't Radio Nigeria stations, like the 3 stations that we have now, be in the same building. We have transmitters spread all over the place. We have one of our two transmitters at Monia. The transmitters for Premier FM is at Monia, the transmitters for Amobi is at Monia, and it was just transmitters we had there. And so we thought it wise. Hey, we need to use that place well. So Amoludu had to shift. Then it was Radio 2. So they had to shift Amoludu to that place. And then Premier FM, well, we have all our studios at Dubai and all of that. But what am I trying to say is that now that we are experiencing the hardship, because I'm not here to pretend, having to burn a candle from two edges, you are funding Monia, funding Dubai, and then we have another one at Yanoku. It's like consuming a lot. And I think the present management are trying to do something probably harmonized. Now, talking about professionalism and profitability in this present day and time. When I joined Radio Nigeria, professionalism was the only thing that will take you to the pinnacle. What I'm trying to say is that you must do it the way it should be done. You want to present a program, there must be a script. You must have a producer. They must vet your script. Without a script, you cannot move close to the microphone. Before you even speak to the microphone, there must be an audition to discover whether you are even worthy of coming into the studio. After that, you have to sit for like maybe 2 months, study those who are there. Do we still have that now? No, I don't think so. But some professionals still insist. For instance, yesterday I had a recruitment session where some talents were interviewed. There's a new radio station coming up very soon at Okebo, and I discovered that we have talents. Many of them, they are still around. But the only thing we need to do is to train them to be professionals. A girl came into the interview room and she was asked some questions as regards presentation. And she said, look, I can't present in English. I want to present in Yoruba. And I said, fine. Give us a demonstration. Demonstrate what you want to do. And then she started speaking Yoruba. And I asked her, are you sure you are speaking Yoruba or you are speaking Latin? Because she wasn't coherent. She was mixing the two languages, Yoruba and English. Code mix, yes. And I asked her, is it possible for me to give you a marketing position? Can you run that marketing bit for us? And she said, no, you don't seem to know me. I've been presenting on 1 or 2 stations, one in Ogun State, one in Oyo State. And then I told her, I said, you're not doing the right thing. You need to learn from the experts. You need to learn from the professional. Did you know? She rejected the position of a marketer. If she had taken that up, she would have learned along the line. We have some marketers that are great presenters now. Because they learned along the line and they became great. So what I have discovered is that some of us are so proud. You are given a little opportunity at the microphone and you believe that you have arrived. Even after spending 35 years as a broadcaster, I can't tell you I have arrived because we keep learning every day. And so that is the mindset that one expects of broadcasters, or at least if you must practice. Have a learning spirit. Be ready to accept criticism. I remember in the days of Kola Olawuyi, because we talked about high-profile programs that is being professional and profitability. He was raking in a lot of money for Radio Nigeria. He raked in a lot of money for Radio Nigeria. Anytime Kola Olawuyi was on air, you want to rush to wherever your transistor radio is to listen to him. But we still have the likes of Kola Olawuyi. I trained about 2 or 3 academies in Oyo State, and even the Polytechnic. And I tried as much as possible to let them know that you can't go the other way. You just must ensure that you do the right thing. Profitability these days may be difficult. So many stations are shutting down. Some are doing, what is it called now? They go on break and then come back. You know, like shutting down for some hours and then coming back at a particular time, just to ensure that at least you make ends meet. When I was on that director in Nigeria, it wasn't easy. We were practically spending every kobo buying diesel. But there are some stations now trying to see if they could use petrol and even gas to power their stations. So we need to continue, you know, to find out ways of keeping on air, not to even talk of profit now. I think that is what is happening.
Yeah.
And I will try to. Thank you.
So professionalism first, very important. All right.
I have listened to my senior colleagues speak on this, and I cannot agree less. First off, we live in a society where when people do things the wrong way, it's highly celebrated because most people are allowed to overhand. Talking about the media space, and some of the things that you've spoken about, I've actually heard some people go so much about the capability, but when it's going there on the market, let's see what you can do. You realize there's so many lapses, like the example that you gave, go on air, no press, you don't have any intro, no back end story or anything. You just start the conversation. You are leaving people in the past that you actually want them to talk about. One thing I always like to remind broadcasters is the fact that a media owner for every station there is a benefit. There is something that the owner of that station already set out to achieve with that platform first. Then if you're going to be employing anybody, broadcasters, every single person in your organization needs to understand your vision and your mission as a platform.
Philosophy.
If you do not understand them, you cannot work with me. Because at the end of the day, you go out and do things and engage the wider panel. I ensure that as head of programs, I manage a team and I make them understand every single thing. Being women radio, yes, when you come to the marketing space, it might be a unique service because people are like women radio. But at the end of the day, I know my target audience. I know what I can take and what I cannot take. If every single member of your team understand your objective, they will always follow it. In the whole process of trying to maintain professionalism, I do as much as possible because it's something that my boss ensures that happens. You cannot just go on air without proper time check, program idea, and actually following what's up to you and just going. You can't tell any story like that. Then also we live in a time where the economic situation is very, very hard. Broadcasters, media houses are suffering because, I mean, after COVID, we can attest to the fact that advertising is not what it used to be anymore. People are now struggling. You can afford to get shops these days. I mean, you should be fair because you still need to run on this fast supply is not great. So having to look at all of these things together, it's a lot to manage, if I'm being honest. But having to now see broadcasters do certain things or go behind doors to what police power and this stuff just because you want to make ends meet. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, and I say it's a challenge because as much as possible, I want to always have editorial power over my story. I don't want anybody to be able to influence my story to say, like what he mentioned when he gets a press release and you're trying to install whoever it is coming from whatever office. No, I'm not here to celebrate the government. I'm not here to bash the government as well. I am just going to give you the facts. I would allow for you as a person to defend anyhow you choose to defend. But would I give you facts? Yes, I will. Because that is my job as a watchdog. And that is what the media does. I'm not going to come on here and tell you, oh, this government is this. No, I will not. How it happened? How did it happen? Where? What? All of these things I'm going to give to you. However, you choose to understand that, you call on my show. And you want to sell your own thing. I mean, as human beings, we are all entitled to our opinion. Whenever you choose to sell the story to us. But you will not come on my platform. First, remember the fact that NBC is somewhere waiting for you to move.
I know.
NBC is waiting for you to move.
So you can get a love letter.
Of course.
Love letter.
So, it's not the anything thing. And the fact that I was able to remember that as a watchdog, being the fourth estate of the realm, I get to remember that I have the whole lot going on in my mind. I have a responsibility to keep this in Nigeria.
So, okay.
It's not always the fact that you get. You get some presenters come on air and they say a lot, but they're not saying anything. If you understand what that means. They say a whole lot, but they're not saying anything at the end of the day. And I'm having to betray sometimes. I have to just to make accountability to some other radio stations. It kind of helps me to know what I need to do better,
Okay.
what we're not doing well as well. So you keep learning every day.
Right.
But when you go to certain platforms, there's some platforms that I, to an extent, do not want to question those concepts of this platform because I know that they put in the work. We have so many radio stations out there, licenses are being given out every single day, and sometimes you listen to some, they all sound alike. Everybody's saying the same thing. We're all picking the same stories. Yes, we get the same headlines, we get the same reports. But what happens to actually looking inward? Look at your community. What is happening in your community? And tell me the story. These are the areas, I mean, when we talk about profitability and professionalism, there's so many areas to actually touch.
All right.
Very, very big.
All right, thank you very much. Have your hands together. Beautiful response there. Thank you.
Thank you. My colleagues have spoken very well. I want to come into this from a little bit different approach, just a little one. I want to break it down into like 2 or 3 phases. The first phase is the national dilemma. The second phase is the industry dilemma. And the third phase is our own particular dilemma. When I say our own, internal, station by station. The national dilemma, I was on a call for like 45 minutes this morning. After that call, I was so sad. And I had a very big concern for the future of this country. I'm sure Mr. Tunji would understand this very well, and I will. 2 weeks ago, I saw on the news that GlaxoSmithKline are leaving Nigeria after 52 years. And that's about, you can imagine the number of staff that they are going to lay out of job. This morning, I was speaking with the head of a very big pharmaceutical company. It's a PLC company. And he informed me that they are already in a dollar debt of over 2 billion naira in naira. Now, before the actual value when he took the loan from one of the banks was about naira something billion naira. But dollar rise, they didn't commit any offense. It's not like they stole their product and they lost. They slept yesterday and they woke up today and they say turned to about something. The loan they took when dollar was 360 naira. Now dollar is naira and 20 naira. It said yesterday they had to import some goods from the UK and they had to pay 1,180 naira per 1 pound per pound as compared to what they used to. And I told me, said, we're actually talking about advertising, advertising our product. This is a company that will say, okay, for this year we want to spend like 500 million in media communication. But what's our budget for this year? It's not up to 50 million. And he said we are even struggling to even do a 5 million worth of that. And it informed me that even Pfizer are planning to shut down in Nigeria. And he says, their company, they are thinking inwardly now that their staff strength, he mentioned the staff strength, he said they are going to downsize. They are going to lay off like 1
130 or 140 staff so that they can maintain what they have now. They cannot increase salary, a PLC company. They have to lay off. That's a national dilemma. And it's a general umbrella. If you're talking about profitability, don't even think about that for now. Because the market is getting stiffer, more competitive, it's worrisome. Imagine laying off staff of about 1,000 plus in a company throughout Nigeria that have been there for 52 years. About 1,000 or 2,000 staff will be laid off. There's no way the multiplier effect will not affect the media. And when I say the media, broadcasting inclusive, majorly. Tell me how many newspapers sell 500 pieces now? How many? Social media has taken over and it's really claiming. So now, profitability, it's getting so slimmer. And to run a radio station or a TV station, you can have a look at something. You got to sọ fún Túnjí, o sọ fún mi nígbà tẹ́lẹ̀ fẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n yẹ kí ẹ o pè fóònù. Ìgbà tí wọ́n ní tech staff, o ṣe sọ fún mi kọ́mọ̀ ìdí staff ẹ̀ ní wà lọ́wọ́. You are a bad man. But that's not the point here. I'm just trying to put it there. We don't also because of that, you will not have challenge on the station. The national dilemma is there. It spends about 5 million diesel monthly, 1.5 million on diesel monthly. There is no station that will escape spending like 1.52 million on diesel, just diesel. You cannot escape it. Or three Nigeria will have more than that, maybe 5 million. And the 3 stations will spend like 5 or 10 million altogether on diesel and not to be salary. So for any station that does not hold salary now, they take up. It's not easy. That's the truth. It is not easy. It is not. National dilemma is there. And we want to be professional. And we want to make money. The industry dilemma. I was at a workshop in Abeokuta some 2 months ago, 2 months now, where we had Paramount FM at 20. Yeah, we went to deliver in the last election. The NBC people were there, and I said it to their face. How? Proliferation of stations, yes, it has an advantage. But the major disadvantage here is that licenses are given to those that have no business in the media, the businessmen that has no. So we are talking about your station vision and your DNA, your policy. And policy. Some stations have no policy, no DNA. I don't want to say most. Let me just use the word. Let me be economical. No DNA, no focus, no policy, no direction, nothing. Anything goes. The other side of it is some stations are politically influenced. Government influence, ownership influence on stations, and these are putting pressures on the normal stations that are actually running professionally. Some stations are being run under the ground by the government and putting somebody there. I'm trying to be very economical with words because crossing. They just put somebody there and anything goes. And now you see anything on that station. There's money. They have money. The government is there spending that money, funding the station to project whatever is their vision, whatever, their political vision, and talk down on the other. I love the fact that Aruloko was talking about, yes, I'm an athlete of APC, but it doesn't run on my station. And that is because no will show it. Yeah, I saw your station. Yeah, because especially during the political, I called you now. I said, one.
I share your station. Are you there?
That's the truth. He said, yeah. Some stations are funded by government. They put a proxy, being run by proxy. Those people will do anything, all sorts. No professionalism, nothing. And the stations that are running professionally, the staff will be saying, go buy the station, because of the pressure. And they have money to throw around and all that. And they'll be saying, what they are paying them there is times 3 of what I'm paying here. I'm living. Internal pressure. Industry guidelines. Professionalism. We all know what it is. Broadcasting, you can't go there without being trained. Sitting here, I sat in for like 2 years. In those days, even if you call yourself an entertainment producer or presenter, you cannot go on air without a script. At the OGBC, if you have your show, 48 hours to that show, you must have selected your music. That was the way I was trained. You don't even bring your music into the studio. You go to the library. You don't have libraries now. You go to the library of that station. You compile your music. You have your focus. You have everything written down. And you have about 3 music logs. One to yourself, one to the producer, one to the studio manager. And you don't go outside that music log. 48 hours is submitted. Your script. You go through your script, and they're sure it is good. The producer says, okay, to broadcast. You don't do that anymore. Professionalism. Where is the professionalism? And now, you tell the young broadcasters that this is the way it's done. They want to cut corners. It is true that a lot of them don't want to learn anymore. You don't want to face the challenge of being taken from presentation to the marketing. In Nigeria, those years, there were studio managers, they were converted to marketers. Fola Kochie was one of them, from studio management to marketing. Am I right? So many like that. But tell our presenters today, something even happened in my station recently. One of the presenters are saying, okay, we want to activate our marketing department. And we need to have re-engineering. You are the owner, you have a vision. You know where you are going. And I said, okay, let's convert some of our presenters that are not too busy. You have just one show in a whole week, and I pay you. You have just 2 shows. Some have shows like 8, 6, everything. Some people sleep in that studio, in that station. We have our what do you call it? The rooms for presenters, transit camp. Some are there sleeping there using 5, 6 days in a week. They go 2 times commitment. And I said, okay, these are not just 1 hour. 1 hour in a whole week. The other one has about 2 or 3 hours in a whole week. And they are being paid almost the same thing the others that have 8, 9 programs. I said, no. It's unfair. Let's convert some of these ones to the marketing and rejuvenate. Let's activate the marketing department. You know what one of them said? He said, I cannot do any other thing than present. And she resigned. I said, let her go. It's good. Let her go. Exactly. I dignified, but I had the essence.
Yeah, but I don't find her. That's the topic. Yeah, I was just listening to you now. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Okay.
I think you should engage me. Pay me some money. There's no point being emotional with them because they are not emotional with you. The day they are leaving, they will leave. They will consider the investment. Let me share something with you. Especially when you are dealing with creative people, and I take presenters as creative people. You know what I did? I did a roster. I call it duty officer of the week. You are the general manager of the station for that week. Just to give them an insight into how much you spend on diesel, all the operational issues. Then you do a report on Monday. They are not better in terms of understanding. Because pardon me, this environment, the entrepreneurship spirit is not here. No, you know what I'm saying? They just want that yes, they won't pay. They don't know how to make the money. You're talking about marketing. Where are you going to see? Where are the marketers? When the station itself does not have a vision, a mission, and a philosophy, what are you going to sell? I went to Lagos. These are risk and everyone. I said, no, that's not why I'm here. They are just order takers. They go to beg. They are not selling. There's a huge difference. Because when you have something to offer, then you can make a pitch. But it's not just to go and drop the rate card and all of those things. Sorry. Please help me with this. How come a Yoruba presenter does not know that it is Deji of Akure and not Deji of Akure? How come a Yoruba presenter, I'm not talking about external, I'm even talking about my station, and I will run down like a man. Cannot pronounce Abia State. It's Abia. You cannot pronounce the name of the governor of Akwa Ibom State. I said, okay. Oh, that's here. Akwa Ibom, okay. How should pronounce the governor? Do that we the Don't tell you get out of that place. So these are real challenges, and like I told you guys, I like to be very practical. I don't tire. This is happening right in the station. And when you scream and shout, you don't understand. From what I know, and thank God Papa is here. Papa is here. If you mispronounce a name, you won't go next microphone for 3 months. That's the way I used to see my father do all of these things. But here they just take it. And you say you're a broad Christian. Why do you do that? So, from the presenter, you must see yourself as a businessman. That's the orientation that I'm giving there. If your program does not make money out of here, okay. So a lot of people come, they want to present program. I give you a deadline. After 3 months or 6 weeks, if it doesn't make money, sorry, I yank you. I'd rather be playing my music. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this is business, it's not charity. The days of NTA has gone.
But I was actually going to come to what you just said right now. Maybe show that we'll round this up.
Well, I think
and then I will come to that.
Every round of what I was every round of what I was like, I mean, we should have a business sense in whatever we do. Then we should not throw away professionalism.
Okay.
I think for the new broadcasters, they should be open to learn. See, I told you where I started from, but I tell you sincerely, I'm a very big media marketer. I'm a very big media business person now, apart from being a professional. And that does not take away the professionalism in me. So let's keep it up from there. All right, at least for now.
All right.
Please, do not put your hands together for that very well. Come on. When Shion started, Shion said, this is a multi-billionaire conference. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet. Please begin to prepare your questions, all right? Right about now, I want to invite this special seat. You know, we've been talking about experts. These are our fathers in the industry. So we have one of our grandfathers is here this afternoon. Please help me with a standing ovation. Come on. Help me bring to this special seat. Baba, our daddy. If I say Baba, you clap. Baba, our daddy. Our great grandfather. Please make welcome. Baba Pharaoh. Come on. Ambassador Baba Pharaoh. Come on. We're privileged to have our fathers and our grandfather this afternoon. One of our fathers is a white beard, and our grandfather too. Come on.
Ambassador Yemi Faruqi is a former Nigerian ambassador to the Philippines, was a lecturer of mass communication at the Polytechnic of Communication and Language Arts at the university. He joined Western Nigerian television, WNTV, and WNB, and became the general manager of information. He helped establish television service of Oyo State, Ghana BC United TV, Ibadan. He was a consultant and later managing consultant for Oyo State Education Corporation, Akure. He's a former part-time lecturer, Department of Language and Communication Arts, University of Ibadan. He taught postgraduate classes in history of communication, media planning, and techniques. He was the chairman of the Times Nigeria PLC, Lagos, 2000 to 2004, and the chairman of Oyo State Broadcasting Corporation, 2000 to 2010. Ambassador Yemi Faruqi is a foreign permanent professional respected at home and abroad for his vast experience in media and communications.
Put your hands together for Ambassador Yemi Faruqi. You can do better than that. You can do better than that. Clap those hands. I didn't ask you to clap. I want you to clap your hands together for this great man. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when my friend and my brother